If you're struggling to close MSP sales, or you're like Harrison, I keep trying and trying and trying, and for whatever reason, I feel like I'm not making headway, this is going to be the video for you. I'm going to give you tips, tricks, and some things I've never actually talked about here on YouTube that could absolutely help you close more deals and find that key person in the company that could write you the check, that could sign the contract, and get you paid. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs grow, whether it's sales training, marketing training, or business operations. Before I get into today's video, I do want to mention just two really quick things. Number one, if you want to learn more about us, what we do, how we help MSPs, head over to growth-generators.com. There's tons of information there. You could see it here on our website, but from our programs that we actually offer to people, the services, the resources, and truly so much more. And if you're looking to grab some free resources on how to grow your MSP, head over to that resources tab. There's tons of stuff in there. The second thing I want to mention, which is a little time sensitive, if you'd like to come hang out with us, we're doing a Tech on Tap here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's just a little bit west of the city, located at Legion Brewery. If you'd like to come hang out, we're going to have a nice MSP meetup. If you're in the area or you're willing to make the drive, we would absolutely love to have you. It says buy tickets. It's completely free. I guess I'm sponsoring the first one because I'm buying all the food, but hey, I just want to hang out with MSPs in the area. Truthfully, it would be really cool to meet you as a subscriber. Come hang out with us. There's going to be tons of MSP people there. I am super, super excited. So let's talk about MSP sales, because there's a lot that kind of falls in this umbrella of MSP sales, right? We ultimately want to get the customer who has hopefully money to sign a contract on a monthly recurring revenue basis and then give us that money to do the work, the updates, the patches, all of the good stuff that we as an MSP actually get to do. But we have to make sure that we take a couple things into account before we actually go through any of this, right? The first and foremost and most important thing is we have to know who we're actually going after. And I promise, for those that subscribe to the channel, you're probably like, Harrison, I swear if you say it one more time, I totally get it. But let me tell you, knowing who you're going after makes life so much easier. It's almost a cheat code to business and sales. When you know that you're going after law firms, healthcare, right? Whomever it is, banks, whatever it may be, knowing who you're going after gives you a massive advantage. The communication that you're going to have, the way you're going to go about the sale. And one of my favorite things to do, especially as we're going through the foundations of a sale, is a consultative sale. A good sale should feel like a game of tennis or a game of pickleball. But the game is not to win. The game is to have a fantastic back and forth between both parties, you and your ideal customer. You don't want to make the customer feel bad. You're there for a reason, not to make them feel bad. They need help. That's why you're in the door. That's why you're speaking to them. So when you're going through this, you want to have a bit of a consultative approach, just like you would go to the doctor when you're trying to diagnose what is the cost of downtime in your business? How are you currently handling whatever problems are currently there? And make sure that as you go through this process, as far as the foundations go, we make sure that we talk about the value of what we provide, right? 24/7 by 365 support, right? These are important things that we have to make sure that we talk about the value that it provides. Yeah, we are providing that service of 24/7 by 365, but the value to the client is no matter when you're working, we're there to support you at every hour of every day. That is a huge benefit to them. And we have to make sure that we talk about the value. Now that we've gotten some of the foundations out of the way, we have to talk about the most important part of this process. We have to talk about the lead qualification techniques, because this is almost exclusively where you're probably going wrong. Why you're like, I can't get to the decision maker. I can't do this. I'm not getting as far as I want throughout the sales process. Now, before I go into this, I do want to ask one really quick favor. Whether you're listening to this as the podcast or you're watching it on YouTube, if you could hit the like button, the subscribe button, notification bell, and if you're listening to the podcast and you really enjoy the episodes that we put out, please, 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 a 5-star review would be tremendously, tremendously helpful. And if you really want to take it one step further, share this out with a friend of yours, somebody in the MSP world who maybe is in sales, marketing, or is an owner who could get a ton of value from this channel. We would really, really appreciate it. So I've learned this as a slightly different thing, but I've now learned that there's a new process for this framework out there. And it's called MEDDIC, right? It kind of fits because I am a fireman, but it's MEDDIC. And I'll give you a second to write that down. If you're driving, I promise you could just go back and watch the video. It's quite all right. But the first thing that we want to make sure that we understand is the metrics, right? What are the measurable business outcomes you desire, right? And what are you delivering? Now, these metrics can be everything from the uptime that you're providing, cybersecurity, but I like to even take it one step further back. What metrics are we looking at? How many cold calls we've made? How many emails we've received, right? How many outreaches we've done, how many cold emails we've sent, how many follow-ups are out there. We can't move anything forward throughout the sales process until we look at the metrics. Most people call these KPIs, key performance indicators. Number 2 is E, the economic buyer. And the rest of this is understanding who throughout the sales process we need to actually target along with following through that sales process. But we need to make sure that who is the buyer of this? Who is the person with the power to sign the document that says, hey, you are our new MSP. We don't want to waste our time, truthfully, right, talking to somebody who's not going to be able to make that decision for the company, right? And ultimately for us to see if we're going to end up becoming one of their providers, right? We have to make sure that we know who that is actually going to be. And then we have to talk about D, the decision criteria. What criteria will the prospect use to make the decision, right? We have to know who we're actually going after. We have to know the metrics, who we're going after, what criteria will the prospect use to make a decision. Now, this is heavily reliant on your buyer persona. If your buyer persona, if you don't really know who you're going after, this is going to be tremendously difficult because you have to think about yourself like when selecting a new IT partner, right? Think about it from their perspective. What are the most important things to them? Is it price? Is it service? Is it the reliability? Is it the long-term value? All of these. And there's so many more that can come into play. We have to make sure as the expert or the sales experts, we understand what is making them decide to move forward. Now we have to go for another D here, and that is the decision process. Now, no matter what you do or how you do it, there is a decision process involved. Regardless of if you're talking to the decision maker, if you're talking to the team, whoever it is, there's some kind of internal process that they have, right? It's just kind of how it is. And many times you'll hear it as, I got to talk to my business partner, I got to talk to my wife. This is the decision process that they might have. But how does the organization evaluate and approve a new vendor such as yourself? You have to ask great questions, probing questions, questions that are going to give you the information to understand. And you can ask. Don't think like, oh, I don't really know. Hey, what does your decision-making process look like? Do you have to speak to somebody else, take it home to the wife? You could even get out ahead of it before it becomes an objection. By you doing that, you are going to have it's the most important S, but like a statistical significant advantage when you go through this just by asking, and you avoid the the objections, the absolute worst things that could happen that might throw you off of a really, really good sale and a potential customer that you would love to work with. It's important. Now, this is one of my favorite things, and that is identifying the pain. Now, throughout this process, you are going to say, hey, you know what? I need to find where things are really going wrong. Now, if you've been a longtime subscriber of the channel, you know that I love quantifying the pain. How much does it cost you? Who's wasting time? How much are they worth to the company? What's going on, right? Are you worried about compliance, fines? Are you worried about bleeding money through employees just not fixing printers or other things around the office. These are things that you can say, hey, there is a lot of pain that they have. Now, my favorite thing to do is turn that pain into finances. How much money does that pain actually cost them? And when you do that really, really good, the MSP sales get so much easier. And number 6, who is the champion of the company? Now, this is my most secretest sauce. In the MEDDIC frameworks, there has to be a champion. Now, I've talked about this a lot. This could be somebody as the secretary. Maybe they're married to the owner. They might not share the same name. It could just be somebody else hanging out in their office. But you have to learn to be able to identify who that person is. Maybe it's an internal IT manager. Maybe it's just the techie inside the company. Yeah, they don't have the power to just sign off on it, but they do have the ability to be your champion. Say, hey, I'm the tech person. We need them because I can't be the one doing all of this work. And it helps tremendously. Now, we've talked a little bit about your advanced, right, sales training, but your sale doesn't actually stop there. We have to make sure that we take it to the nth degree, right? And that is building a multi-touch engagement campaign. Now, that is a fancy term for saying that we have to use a couple different channels for outreach across the board. That could be phone calls, that could be emails, that could be LinkedIn messages, this could be introductions to other people, this could be, as some people would call it, the shock and awe box, but leaving something. Now, I love just popping in with a thing of donuts. It is an easy way to win people over. Nobody doesn't like donuts. Even people that are like, hey, I'm watching Sweets will have a donut, or at least they appreciate the kind gesture. But we also want to make sure that this multi-touch campaign is personalized. If it's not personalized, they don't feel like it's for them. It's just wasted time, wasted energy, and wasted effort. And we have to keep in mind too, consistent touch points. We are in a society where we see logos everywhere. Just looking at my desk, I see tons of different logos. I just got coffee this morning. I'm sure we all know what logo this is. For those listening, it's Dunkin', right? But we are constantly bombarded. Just looking at my screen and my desk around, I could count 15 or 20 different brands and logos out there. It's going to take more than what it used to get a sale across the finish line. In many cases, it's going to take 6 to 12 touches. And I know that sounds crazy, but you have to be able to go through that process. This could be several emails, this could be several calls, several text messages, this could be a swing by the office. It's going to take time. And these might be over the course of a week or 2 weeks. And I know you're probably thinking, Harrison, that's a lot. But what's the value of a customer to your business? And more importantly, what if there's a competitor who's trying to get in there as well? Are you going to be the MSP that says, ah, nah, I've done my touch points already. They're just they don't really want to move forward, right? Of course you're not going to do that. You want to make sure you take it to the nth degree and you touch that client as much as possible digitally or over the phone. Keep that in mind too. All right, but it's important to be able to do that. And last but not least, if you really want to get good at sales, and there's a whole little section after this video, I'll probably make a second video about this, but truly, this first chunk of the video is super important. You have to be prepared for the objections. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you are going to get them. We already have an IT provider. We don't have the budget right now. Now's not a good time. They're always, it's just a matter of the sale. It's what people do. They look at it and they say, that's a lot of money. Well, obviously it's a lot of money. A lot of money could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. We have to make sure that whatever objection we get, we reframe the objection, right? Turn them into opportunities by asking probing questions. If you don't address this now, what is the potential risk in your business, right? We don't have the budget for it. Totally understand that. Many clients who hesitated because of budget later found that we saved them X amount of dollars in downtime costs, right? That's just one, and every scenario that you're gonna have is gonna be slightly different. But being prepared for those objections is gonna make you a just significantly better than anybody else out there when it comes to sales. And trust me, when I say the bar is low, and some MSPs are gonna take some offense to this, but the bar is low when it comes to sales and marketing in the MSP world. By taking this video, running with it, getting a little bit more sales training, we offer that in our membership program. But truly, if you want to have a much higher chance at closing deals, being more successful, you have to be able to be prepared for all of these. And when you could crush objections, follow a good sales process, bring it back to your headquarters and put it in your CRM, you are set up for success. I promise you, it is not that hard to do, but most MSPs are not doing even the slightest bit. So by you putting in just a little bit more work, you are leaps and bounds ahead of the competition. So I hope you guys found some value in this video. I have a follow-up video coming to this probably next week. I'm getting back on the 7 a.m. grind. I have gone through some life changes recently, all good things, but I will be back at 7 a.m. almost every single day, Monday through Friday. Again, I apologize for my little tardiness here and there. I'm working through it all. I love you guys as always, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh, and if you haven't already, hit that like button.